I think only a couple weeks ago, when discussions about Jonathan Taylor were going on, and one was suggested Jonathan Taylor for Jaylen Waddle, and people freaked out, thinking, "How dare they even suggest Jaylen Waddle?" And other people were like, "That seems fair." So let's talk about it. Is Jaylen Waddle? Let's talk about it. Well, I mean, again, I had some wild comments. People saying he's a top 10 receiver, and I was like, I don't.
Top
maybe I'm
three.
missing something.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe I'm missing something, and I went and looked it up, and I was missing something. He had 1,300 yards last year. So let me turn the question over to you, B. Is Jaylen Waddle a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, or as you wrote here, nah?
I know we talked about this for like half an hour before we started re-recording today.
It's a tough question.
It's tough because, in my opinion, Waddle is right there on the border of top 10. So that's what made it tough. Just to give you all some names, I mean, these aren't really in exact order for my top 10, but just to throw some names out there who I think could be ahead or should be ahead of Jaylen Waddle right now. We have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans. So, I mean, towards the bottom when I saw like McLaurin and Evans, that's what I really was thinking. Like, should I put Waddle ahead of those two? Like, should I take them out and put Waddle in? You said a great point. I don't want to take away your talking points, but when you look at the entirety of Waddle's career and compare it to Evans or Mick McLaurin, they've been doing it longer than Waddle, right? Waddle had a great season last year, but again, I think we saw his rookie year, 2021, he had like 1,000 receiving yards. In 2022, he had 1,300, almost 1,400, which kind of put him inside the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 receivers for receiving yards. I think I need to see him do it again. Maybe even push that bar up a little bit further. Now again, that depends on Tua and if he can stay healthy and that Dolphins offense, right? But I think I need to see one more 1,300, 1,400, maybe 1,500 yard season to put him inside the top 10 over some of the names I just listed off.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm not going to throw that same entire list of names at you. I think our lists were pretty much exactly the same. You can rearrange them. I think consensus Justin Jefferson's the number one receiver, and deservingly so. But yeah, I mean, for me, my criteria is, I want to see longevity. I want to see you do it multiple times because a lot of dudes can do it one time. How many 1,000-yard receiver or running backs have we seen that flame out after 1 year? What about Robert Tonyan? Robert Tonyan was the next coming of George Kittle and was released from the Packers, and now he's on the Bears, I think, and no one knows anything about him since. He's probably picked up in 40% of your fantasy leagues, would be my guess. So, and I'm not saying Jaylen Waddle is a one-year wonder. Like, please don't take me wrong. He seems like he's amazing. If we're just looking at numbers, he's going to get to the top 10. Probably after this year, you can take a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, which I don't think we even have on this list. But DeAndre Hopkins used to be on this list. You could take him off. At some point, Evans pulls back. So, he's right on the cusp, and I think within the next year or two, he'll probably be there. And there's nothing wrong with that. He will eventually get there. It seems like he's got the talent for it. But it's never good to sit here and say that, he's top 10. Then he never has a 1,000-yard season the rest of his career for whatever reason. Right. So it's never good to be too. I don't like getting ahead of myself with that kind of stuff. So I try to slow play it a little bit. And then I know we talk a lot about numbers, and there's people that are going to yell at us. Well, there's more than numbers, and you're absolutely right. Have we sat down? Have we done a deep dive of Jaylen Waddle's video of his skill position, his talent? How does he get? What routes is he normally running? Like, for example, people like to crown Christian Watson. Just to give our viewers an example of what we do. People like to crown Christian Watson the next great receiver. And at least my opinion is I don't have that opinion for him. I think he's going to be an okay receiver. My issue with him is he does not get out of breaks. And then people like to send me a clip of, he is running a hitch. And it's like, yeah, it took him 5 steps to get out of that hitch. If you look at Christian Watson's touchdowns, all 9 of them came from either go routes, crossing routes, or jet sweeps. There's nothing where he's running a whip route. There's nothing where he's, even really running a slant route. I mean, it's really pretty much all goes, all just, hey, run across the field as fast as you can, dude. or hey, we're just going to hand it off to you at full speed.
Yep.
Which is nothing wrong with that. That's a great talent. I mean, the fact that you're faster than everyone else in the NFL, amazing. But same thing with Jaylen Waddle. We haven't had a chance to deep dive into his film, but we know he's on the cusp of it. You can hear people talking about him. Obviously, the reaction based on the thought of him being traded and how the Dolphins view him when they said, if you put him in, we're not even no discussion at all. He is not in that conversation.
Right.
So it also seems like they view him as the eventual protege of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So
that's to your point. I mean, when people talk about top 10 for a group, it is numbers based for the most part. I mean, we don't have the numbers. You're not going to be considered top 10. So to your point about Tyreek Hill, I'm intrigued to see how much longer he stays the number 2 option for the Dolphins, right? Because when I just said, like, yeah, I want him to get another 13 to 1,500 yard season, was like, as a wide receiver 2, that's going to be pretty tough. Like, you have to throw a ball a lot because at least I would think that Tyreek Hill is going to get more targets than Waddle since Hill is the number 1. So to your point, I wonder how much longer Hill will be that one. I know he has a few years left on his contract or whatever. But again, like Waddle, I think it's like 23, 24 right now. Hill is getting up there. He's almost 30. So, yeah, I'm just, I guess, to kind of end this, I would want to see Waddle on an offense where he is the clear-cut number 1 receiver. I know that he was like at his rookie season, but again, that was his rookie season, couldn't really figure himself out yet.
Not fair,
young. Yeah, so I want to see him as the number 1 option and see how much, like, what his numbers would be like as the number 1 option.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, we've seen a little bit in his rookie year, and he went for 1,000 yards. I mean, that's good numbers, especially for a rookie. So now, again, I don't think he's ever going to get to a situation. Let me phrase that. He's going to be in Miami a long time. Based on the way they were talking about him in the trade discussion, I don't see them letting him go. So when it comes time for contract, he's going to get a contract. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you don't got to worry about that. You're going to have Waddle. You've seen the Waddle a lot. So, but it's probably going to be a few years before we really see him be the number 1 guy. Because, like you said, I think Tyreek Hill still has at least 3 more years on his deal.
Yeah.
So he's probably as long as he's there, he's going to be the number 1 he's going to get the lion's share of the targets, looks, whatever you want to say about it. But maybe towards the end of that deal, we do kind of see a transition where Waddle finally, oh my God, I'm thinking of a big vocab word here, supplants him as the number one receiver. Sorry, I got to go read a dictionary. What is going on here? These words.
It's just early morning. We just had our coffee. Our brain, at least my 2 brain cells I have are still. I did, yeah. My two brain cells are still kind of waking up. So
yeah, my morning routine is much different. See, you woke up, did coffee. I got out of bed. I shotgunned a 4 Loko real quick, walked right over here, and just started recording. I slept in this shirt. Speaking of which,
and now to our sponsor for
sponsor of the video, 4 Loko. Has your life gotten so depressed that you think, hey, I need a 4 Loko? Just do bleach. It's quicker.
It's better than coffee.
It's better than coffee. All right. Perfect. Again, so don't forget, sorry for the little joke at the end there. Don't forget, that'll end our Waddle segment for us. Don't forget to, again, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. We do this every week. We release videos every Sunday morning with segments coming out throughout the week. But again, thank you for joining us.